Carmen, I'm sure you have heard this story. You have heard me tell this story many times. But I wanted to take the opportunity of your birthday because I think you will appreciate having a digital recording of the day you were born, of a witness who was there. My mother and I were living in Miami, and your parents, Pepe and Esperanza, and your brother, Frank, who was not even 1 year old, were living in Panama. Pepe's mother was accompanying them, so they did have some help. But my mom, your grandmother, wanted to lend a hand. You know, at the time when a child is about to be born, it's usually a time of stress and a time of a lot of need for help. So we went to Panama, and it was, you know, while we were waiting for you to arrive, it was a nice vacation actually. I had a very good time. I remember it as a nice vacation. Anyway, one day, in the very early morning hours, I was awakened by my mother, and everybody was frantic, running all over the place. And your parents were arguing. Basically, the argument was, you know, my sister telling, I told you, you know, my fountain broke, and, you know, it's coming. And Pepe saying, no, there's time. You see, Pepe was a doctor. He was a young doctor, an inexperienced doctor, but he was sure from his studies that you know, that it was going to take longer. So, you know, they kept arguing about it. And anyway, so we carried your mom down the stairs. They were living in a second floor. And Pepe grabbed her by the arms, you know, and I was grabbing her leg. I mean, she was spread out because she was about to give birth. And we went down the stairs that way. And when we got down, Pepe had to look for a taxi. I think he had to, you know, all over the place looking for a taxi. Finally, he got a taxi. So we got into the taxi. They kept arguing, of course, all the time. And the taxi was super nervous. So was I. It was a very tense moment. You know, the taxi driver was told to drive to the hospital. It turns out that you couldn't wait. You had to get out. You were in a hurry. So at some point, Pepe decided, look, you know, we're not going to make it. And he told the taxi driver, stop. But the taxi driver was too nervous. He didn't know what was going on. And he kept on going. And I said, you know, so I had to intervene. I told him, stop. He's a doctor. Stop. So he finally stopped. And, you know, after pushing and shoving, you came out. Then the taxi driver drove to the hospital, where, you know, everybody was in a very good mood, and they were making jokes about the fact that you have been born in a taxi. And actually, it was a very joyous moment. They came, they caught the umbilical cord, and that's when you were separated from your mother. And that's how you were born. It was a very nice. Oh, one last thing. As the taxi driver was leaving, he said he was going to buy a lottery ticket because he felt it had been a lucky day. And it was a lucky day. God bless you, Winnie.